Any sense whatsoever why you would poke every religion right in the eye. Not only have they poked the Catholics, they use the Catholics as the pincushion, but they poke all religious people, because all religious people understand if they attack the Catholics, they will come after us as well. I don't understand why you would poke the Catholics when there are so many Hispanics that are Catholics, and not like the kind of Catholic that I was, where I wasn't a Catholic, but the kind of Catholic that actually listens to the Pope and goes to church and lives the doctrine.
Almost 60% of Latinos are Catholic, by the way.
Why would you possibly do that in an election year? It doesn't make any sense to me at all until I saw a line from Bill Donohue last night. And I believe, and we're going to ask him here in a second, I believe he was using this as in we will stand in the streets and we will lock arms with each other and we're not going to go anywhere. But he said, even if we, dare I say it, we will fight this, dare I say it, maybe even in the streets. And I thought, if I am a Marxist revolutionary, if I'm thinking the way this administration thinks, they want you in the streets. They want you to be fighting in the streets because of the Occupy Wall Street. This is exactly what George Soros is now predicting is going to happen. It gives them the chance to divide us, to marginalize people of faith, because what they'll say is these are religious extremists, and fight in the streets and stir things up. They're intentionally using religion to stir things up. That's my opinion. I wanted to talk to Bill Donohue and see if he has a better explanation, and also find out what he meant by we're going to fight it with lawsuits and with court decisions, and dare I say it, maybe even in the streets. Hi, Bill. How are you?
How you doing, Glenn? And thank you for your support.
Oh, yeah, not a problem. How did you mean that last night?
Well, I'm in conversation right now with some senior leaders in the Catholic Church, and it's coming very shortly, in the next couple of days, as to finalize some tactics, some strategies. I have my plan on the table. I'm a little reluctant to say it right now, but I do think that there has to be mass action. Every legitimate tool that's available to other protesters should be available to us. And I can tell you, in answer to one of your questions there that you're kind of musing about, why would they do this? I spent 20 years in education, 16 as a professor, and I can tell you that these people on the left in general, they live in a bubble. They really do. They associate with and converse with people of like mind. There might be some marginal differences here and there in terms of strategies and the like, but they are uniformly hostile to religion, uniformly in favor of abortion rights, uniformly in favor of a very latitudinous understanding of sexuality as applying to gays, to everybody else. Mm-hmm. And they look at the Catholic Church in particular because it's hierarchical, and we are 25% of the population, 28% of the electorate. I hope they're listening. They look at us as an obstacle to their idea of liberty, and they're right about that. Sociologically, they are correct. But they think that, the days when the bishops really had that much effect are over. And I'll tell you the truth, up until maybe 7 or 8 years ago when I saw things turning, I might have agreed with that perception. I don't think the bishops did command. Mm-hmm. And then we went through the scandal, and that lowered their moral authority as well. Mm-hmm. But these are new times. We not only have a dynamite leader in Timothy Dolan, who's the Archbishop of New York, head of the Bishops' Conference, will be a cardinal next week in Rome. But we have a new crop of bishops who are not passive. They're not bureaucratic. They are engaged. And, a lot of people who have been out of the Catholic circle for a while, they don't understand it. They're saying, where did these guys come from? Well, because you don't keep up with what's going on, and you don't understand that these times are different. I just got back from Florida with the Tom Monahan's Legatus group, over 600 very affluent and powerful Catholics in the country. They gave me a nice award. It was great, and President Bush was there, and so many other good people, Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana. I've never seen a reaction like it. Before I went up to the podium, I was talking about my new book coming out in May. They said to me, Bill, you got to talk about what we want to hear about. We hear about my book. I said, all right, listen, I got to be good with my publisher for a little bit, but now I'm going to address what's on your mind because I've been deluged by these people, and I went after the Obama administration the way I like to about what they've been doing in terms of the infringements on religious liberty, the standing ovations, plural, that I got, and screaming people. This is a new day dawning. I hope the Obama administration has finally figured it out. This is not business as usual in the
Bill,
Catholic community.
Tell me that what the status is. Have you had any arms linked with any other faiths?
Oh, yes, I certainly have. There are three groups in particular, Jews, Mormons, and Protestants, who have been contacting us. We've had some others, but they would be the three biggest groups that have been contacting us. They've been emailing here, I was going to say by the hundreds and maybe by the thousands at this point. I've never seen anything quite like it. Reaching out to us, and you know what? Now, while some of them will say, yeah, we're going to stand with you because we'll be next, in all honesty, most of them are saying, listen, we just stand with you. Obviously they know where this is going, and then it will be like the dominoes falling. They start with the Catholics, and then they go after others. But there are so many people of goodwill who are out there amongst Protestants, Jews, Mormons, and others who have contacted us and said, listen, this is unfair. I don't care what people think about abortion or contraception or sterilization or anything of that nature. I know what the First Amendment means. And so I have been heartened. I can tell you, I've been doing this job for 2 decades. Never have I seen such a visceral reaction upon people, not just Catholics, but upon people who are not Catholic and coming to our support and our defense, which is why we can't let them down. We've got to do something very serious.
Two questions. Where did this originate, this idea? Do we have any idea who originated this idea? And who originated the idea to shut the chaplains down and not let the Catholic chaplains talk about this in the military?
Well, in terms of the first question, you can go back to Obamacare legislation, which was somewhat vague, admittedly, in terms of what specifically it would do, but it handed over to HHS, that's to say that the Department of Health and Human Services. They directed them to make some decisions about how this would be in terms of the details and the specifics. Now, look, the President of the United States, when he was in the state Senate in Illinois, led the fight to deny medical services to a child who's born alive as a result of a botched abortion.
If I'm not mistaken,
he handed over to Kathleen Sebelius, who 3 successive archbishops have called her on the carpet about her Catholic public positions on abortion. She raised money for George Tiller, the most infamous partial birth abortionist in the United States. She's been hostile to the Catholic Church for decades. She's the one who's authorized her department to come up with the specifics. Now you know where all this stuff came from. And in case of the other one, we had the chief military chaplains, who's basically under Obama, tells Archbishop Broglio, who's a good man, he's the Archbishop of Military Services, that you cannot read and send out and have read from the pulpit a statement against Obama and the HHS rule. And, of course, they didn't win on that. They did succeed in getting Archbishop Broglio to excise one sentence dealing with, but it was the sentence.
It says we will stand against this. We will not comply.
It was already out in print, so they didn't win on that. But, yes, they will try gag orders. They will try to intimidate. They will try everything in the book to try and push the secular agenda down the throat of Catholics and the rest of the country.
May I ask, the nuns and the bishops that specifically were very, and I have to be very clear, I know the difference between social justice and social justice. And the Catholic Church has had social justice, but it has also had a problem, especially in South America, with social justice as understood by people like Jeremiah Wright. But you had bishops and nuns that were pushing this agenda. How are they folding back into the kind of the papal look of the Catholicism?
To tell you the truth, it's been widely reported, and I think erroneously, that bishops worked against it. No, they basically fell in line, or if they didn't like it, they kept their mouth shut. It is true that some prominent priests I'll be very specific. Larry Snyder, Father Snyder, head of Catholic Charities, big post. Father John Jenkins, head of University of Notre Dame, big post. Sister Carol Keehan, head of the Catholic Health Association.
Big.
She did more than anybody to work against the bishop, saying you're misreading Obamacare. You haven't seen the specifics that have come out from the HHS yet, and we think that we're going to stand with him. To their credit, they have now come out, those three people, and obviously there were others, but those are the three big-name people, the blue-chip players. They've all come out now and said they feel betrayed. They cannot believe what the Obama administration has done. You stood us up on this thing. And don't forget that Timothy Dolan, the Archbishop in New York, the head of the Bishops' Conference, sat down with Obama in November and was told that you were going to get most of what you want, maybe not everything, but you're going to be a lot happier than you are today. He calls him up on Friday, January the 20th, and says, you lose. And Dolan, the man that he is, said, I am very disturbed by this, and that's why a lot of us are in conversation in terms of finalizing the exact strategies.
Well, Bill, I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys come up with, and know that at least I can speak for me. We stand with you. I stand with you, and anything I can do to help.
Well, you've already helped. You're getting the word out, and you did it again last week. And thank God we have people like you who are out there getting this thing trumpeted, because the more people find out about it, the more outraged they're going to be.
You can go to thecatholicleague.org and find out some more information. Also, I put something up last night on GBTV. What was the website that we put up that was on for parishes, for people to get this out to their parishes? Do you know anything about that, Bill?
Oh, yes, I think the CatholicAdvocate.com.
Yeah, that's it. CatholicAdvocate.com. And if you're not Catholic, if you're Catholic, go there. If you're not, go there anyway and just sign and just say, we're with you.
There's a lot of websites out there now. A lot of people are chiming in, and that's good, because this thing has exploded.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bill. Appreciate it.